Epicurus, the esteemed Stoic philosopher, once imparted a timeless piece of wisdom. Surround yourself with those who uplift you, with individuals in whose company your best attributes naturally come to the fore. This concept resonates with the familiar adage that you embody the average of the 5 individuals with whom you spend the majority of your time. Today, we shall delve into this notion through a Stoic perspective. Our discussion will center on identifying 7 types of individuals who might inadvertently hinder your journey in Stoic philosophy. Understanding the influence of these personalities is vital, as it compels us to reevaluate our relationships with them. Before we embark on this exploration, I'd be grateful if you could support this endeavor by liking the video. This small act aids in further disseminating Stoic teachings. Also, if you haven't yet subscribed, I encourage you to do so and activate the notification bell. This ensures you stay informed and don't miss out on any upcoming videos delving into the depths of Stoic thought. The first type of person to be cautious of is the complainer. We often encounter someone in our circle, be it a friend, family member, or co-worker, who seems to have a knack for finding flaws in everything. From the weather, to their job, or even a meal at a well-regarded restaurant, they seize every chance to voice their discontent. Now, you might think, why should this bother me? I can simply tune them out. However, it's not as straightforward as it seems. Regularly being exposed to such pessimism can significantly drain your mental stamina. Picture it as a dripping faucet, gradually depleting your pool of emotional energy. Stoicism, at its core, encourages us to concentrate on practical solutions rather than fixating on the issues. Take, for instance, working on a project with someone who persistently complains. Each meeting devolves into a tiresome litany of grievances, lacking any productive discourse. This not only dampens the team's spirit but also diverts attention from seeking effective solutions. The result? You might find your enthusiasm for the project waning, or worse, a growing disenchantment with life itself. So, how does Stoicism guide us in handling a chronic complainer? There are several tactics you could consider. Firstly, try to minimize your interactions with this person when possible. If avoidance is impractical, such as in cases involving family or colleagues, your next strategy is to create a mental buffer during their tirades. Envision their grumbling as a transient storm, loud and disturbing, but ultimately fleeting and incapable of shaking the firm foundation of your inner peace. Another approach is to redirect the conversation towards solutions, or shift the topic to something more positive. Echoing the words of Marcus Aurelius, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This enduring Stoic insight urges us to vigilantly protect our mental tranquility, ensuring that the perpetual negativity of complainers doesn't derail us from our steadfast journey towards resilience and virtue. The second type of person to be wary of is the drama magnet. Picture yourself as the captain of a ship, smoothly navigating through tranquil waters. Suddenly, you encounter the turbulent whirlpool that is the drama magnet. This person seems to exist in a perpetual state of crisis, conflict, or controversy. Much like a whirlpool, they possess a disconcerting capacity to draw you into their vortex of turmoil. At first, you might be drawn to the drama magnet's vivacity, mistaking it for enthusiasm or fervor. However, it quickly becomes apparent that being in their orbit is akin to steering a ship through a tempest, both exhausting and perilous. The challenge in dealing with drama magnets lies in their ability to make their crises feel like your own. Their chaos is contagious, and you may unexpectedly find yourself caught up in conflicts that were never yours to begin with. Consider this scenario: you have a friend who consistently experiences fallouts within your social circle. One day it's a quarrel with Sarah, the next day a disagreement with Tom. They turn to you for counsel, yet you observe that this pattern is unending. Before you know it, your attempts to mediate have placed you at odds with Sarah or Tom. In such situations, a technique known as reflective listening can be invaluable. Rather than giving advice or taking sides, simply echo their sentiments back to them. For instance, if they express, "I can't believe what Sarah said about me," you might respond with, "It sounds like you're feeling really betrayed by Sarah's words." This method allows you to offer emotional support without becoming entwined in the drama. Another strategy, albeit counterintuitive, is to become selectively unavailable. Stoicism teaches us to cherish our time, and occasionally that means distancing ourselves from others' perpetual crises. Set aside periods where you're unreachable, dedicating this time to work or personal growth, making it clear that you are not to be disturbed during these moments. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, once said, "True happiness is to enjoy the present, without anxious dependence upon the future." This perspective is particularly useful when dealing with drama magnets. Instead of fretting over what crisis might emerge next, focus on the present moment, over which you have control. Enjoy your life and avoid letting it be disrupted by someone else's turmoil. Resolve to navigate your ship calmly, steering clear of the whirlpools that could jeopardize your journey towards personal growth and tranquility. The third type of individual to steer clear of is the naysayer. Envision yourself as an artist, your life a canvas upon which each decision adds color, depth, and vitality to your overall picture. Enter the naysayer. They step into your studio, cast a cursory glance at your work, and immediately launch into criticism. "Are you sure about that color? That doesn't seem realistic. You know, most artists don't succeed." Their words, like strokes of grey paint, begin to tarnish the vibrancy of your canvas. This isn't constructive feedback. It's a continuous shroud of doubt and pessimism. For example, imagine you're thrilled about a new career path. You've researched thoroughly, consulted professionals in the field, and even completed introductory courses. Yet, when you convey your excitement to the naysayer, they swiftly enumerate all the potential pitfalls. "The market's too saturated. Do you really have the necessary skills? What if you fail?" Gradually, their skepticism seeps into your psyche, causing your once steadfast confidence to falter. So, how does one handle a naysayer, particularly if they are a close acquaintance? One unconventional but effective approach is to solicit their advice. When people assume the role of an advisor, they're less inclined to outright disparage your ideas and may provide more constructive feedback. Another strategy is to employ what's known as positive confrontation. Rather than succumbing to their negativity, challenge them to think of solutions. If they assert, "You can't change careers at this stage," respond with, "That's an interesting viewpoint. How do you think someone could successfully make that transition?" This not only neutralizes their cynicism but also fosters a more productive dialogue. Recall the words of the Stoic philosopher Epictetus, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." Listening doesn't mean yielding to everyone's skepticism. It's about discerning valuable insights from mere noise. When naysayers begin to cloud your canvas with their shades of doubt, take a step back, assess their input critically, and remember that your vision is your own to paint. Your life's canvas need not be dimmed by the grays of others' doubts, but should rather be a reflection of your own colors and convictions. The fourth type of person to be cautious around is the victim. Picture life as a game of chess, where each player is equipped with the same pieces and shares the common objective of checkmating the opponent's king. You approach the game thoughtfully, strategizing, making sacrifices, and taking calculated risks. However, the victim consistently blames the board, the pieces, or even their opponent for every misstep they make. In their perspective, they are perennially in checkmate, not due to their decisions but because of some external force arrayed against them. Their story is an endless saga of misfortune, in which they invariably cast themselves as the powerless protagonist. While it's essential to recognize that some individuals genuinely face significant hardships and systemic challenges, the type of victim we're discussing here is one who perpetually uses their predicament as an excuse, shirking any responsibility for their actions or inactions. You might find yourself drawn into their narrative, perhaps cast as the supporting character who is always expected to come to their rescue. Imagine, for instance, you're continually listening to a friend who attributes their successive failed relationships entirely to their ex-partners. This not only consumes your time but can subtly coax you into adopting a similar victim mentality in your own relationships. So, how should you navigate interactions with a victim, especially when they are someone close? One approach is to engage them with open-ended questions that prompt introspection. Instead of offering solutions or becoming the constant problem solver, ask questions like, "What do you think you could do differently in this situation?" Or, how do you see yourself taking control of this aspect of your life? Another method is to offer empathy and kindness without attempting to solve their problems for them. Provide a sympathetic ear, but avoid becoming enmeshed in continuously fixing their issues. Recall the words of the Stoic philosopher Epictetus: "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injustice." If you find yourself being drawn into the victim's narrative, resist the impulse to mirror their behavior. Take charge of your own game board, make your moves thoughtfully, and remember, in the chess game of life, being perpetually in checkmate is often a choice, not a predetermined destiny. Keep your pieces advancing, make strategic sacrifices where necessary, and play not for retribution or sympathy, but for personal growth and wisdom. The fifth type of person to be wary of is the toxic positivist. You're likely familiar with this character. They perpetually radiate an aura of sunshine, rainbows, and the cascade of emojis. When you're grappling with a tough situation, they're the ones insisting you just be happy, glossing over your feelings and experiences with a sweep of overzealous optimism. Visualize your life as a garden. It contains flowers, but also weeds and pests. The toxic positivist, however, is adamant about overlooking anything that isn't a blooming rose. Facing aphids on your leaves? Their advice is to focus solely on the flowers, admonishing you to keep negativity out of your garden. While their outlook might seem uplifting, it often leads to feelings of invalidation and a disconnection from reality. Let's say you're enduring a difficult breakup. You're engulfed in sadness, confusion, and in need of emotional grounding. The toxic positivist's response? There are plenty of fish in the sea. Just smile and be happy. This extreme positivity overlooks the complexity of human emotions and the realities of life's trials. How do you maintain your garden without allowing the toxic positivist to overwhelm it with their unrestrained, good vibes only? One approach is to engage them in a conversation that acknowledges both the positive and the negative. If they prompt you to look on the bright side, you might reply, "Yes, I am grateful for my health, but it's also okay for me to feel upset about this particular issue." Both feelings can coexist. Another technique is to practice what psychologists term emotional granularity, the ability to recognize and distinguish between a broad spectrum of emotions, both positive and negative. When faced with the toxic positivist's insistence on sheer happiness, take a moment to identify and express your nuanced feelings. Saying something like, "I'm feeling a bit melancholic today because of X, and that's perfectly fine," can be an empowering acknowledgement. Referring to Stoic philosophy, Seneca once stated, "True happiness is to understand our duties toward God and man, to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." Notice the equilibrium, understanding duties, which aren't always pleasant, and relishing the present. Stoicism isn't about focusing exclusively on the positive or the negative, it's about embracing the full complexity of life with equanimity. So, the next time the toxic positivist tries to blanket your carefully nurtured garden with their confetti of positivity, step back and remember, a garden needs both sunlight and rain to truly thrive. Embrace the entire spectrum of your emotions. Continue to cultivate your garden with the richness and complexity it merits, understanding that true growth stems from a balanced embrace of life's diverse experiences. The sixth type of individual to be cautious of is the manipulator. Envision your life as if it were a movie script. You're the protagonist, and you have a vision of how your story should unfold, including its twists and turns, allies, mentors, and the ultimate climax. Enter the manipulator, a shadowy figure akin to a covert producer, who subtly rewrites your script, often without your knowledge. It's only when you realize your narrative has deviated from its intended path that their influence becomes apparent. Manipulators are adept in the arts of emotional and psychological control. They may employ flattery, guilt trips, or even deception to sway you towards paths that primarily benefit them. Consider a friend who consistently persuades you to foot the bill for dinner, playing on your sympathies and successes. "You know I've had a rough month, and you're doing so well. It wouldn't mean much to you, but it would really lift my spirits." Over time, you realize your kindness is being exploited. Yet confronting them feels challenging, as they've positioned themselves as a friend in need. Dealing with a manipulator requires tact and strategy. One technique recommended by some experts is fogging. This involves acknowledging any truth in the manipulator's statements, but resisting their emotional manipulation. For instance, if they comment on your success as a pretext for you to pay for dinner, you might respond, "You're right, I have been doing well lately, but let's stick to splitting the bill as we usually do." Setting clear boundaries and steadfastly enforcing them is another crucial strategy. If a manipulator pressures you to lend money or commit to tasks you're uncomfortable with, learn to say no with confidence. Keep your tone even and your words unambiguous. A response like, "I can't lend money, but I'm here to offer emotional support," effectively establishes your limits while preserving the relationship. Stoic philosophy, as highlighted by Epictetus, reminds us that while we cannot control external circumstances, we can always choose how we respond to them. Manipulators feed on predictable reactions, exploiting your kindness, guilt, or desire for approval. By consciously altering your response, you regain control of your narrative. So, if you encounter a manipulator in your life story, remember, you are the one wielding the pen. Your narrative is yours to craft. While your cast may include various characters, the protagonist's journey, your journey, should always be steered by your values and decisions. Reclaim your script, and don't let anyone else dictate the direction of your life story. The seventh type of individual to be mindful of is the time vampire. Picture your daily routine as an intricately orchestrated symphony, where each instrument symbolizes a specific task or commitment. Together, they harmonize, creating a beautifully balanced rhythm. However, the time vampire disrupts this symphony, their presence akin to a screeching, off-key note that drowns out the melody and throws your life's composition into disarray. Time vampires are those who incessantly demand your time and attention, often contributing little of substance in return. Perhaps you have a friend who routinely engages you in lengthy, aimless conversations, leaving you feeling drained and off schedule. Or maybe there's a colleague who persistently interrupts your work for trivial reasons, causing you to miss important deadlines. Time vampires don't just consume your time, they erode your focus, productivity, and tranquility. To effectively manage time vampires, establishing clear boundaries is key. Communicate your availability and limits in a firm yet courteous manner. Inform them of the times you're open for calls or meetings, and when you require uninterrupted work periods. Encourage them to respect your schedule, just as you respect theirs. Another tactic is to redirect their communication needs toward more efficient methods. For instance, if a friend is prone to engaging in long, meandering phone calls, propose switching to shorter, more focused text messages or emails for brief updates or queries. This allows you to reclaim control over your time and prevent it from being drained away. In Stoic philosophy, a central tenet is discerning what is within your control and what isn't. Time vampires often attempt to dominate your schedule and attention, but you have the power to assert control by establishing boundaries and managing your time with intent. Remember the words of the Stoic philosopher Seneca: "It is not that we have a short space of time, but that we waste much of it." Time is a precious resource, and spending it with people who uplift you and resonate with Stoic principles is crucial for your personal progress and well-being. In the realm of Stoic philosophy and personal growth, acknowledging and steering clear of these 7 archetypes, the complainer, the drama magnet, the naysayer, the victim, the toxic positivist, the manipulator, and the time vampire, is pivotal for safeguarding your mental tranquility. By doing so, you can centralize your focus on what's truly essential and proceed on your Stoic journey with resilience and virtue. The 8th type of individual to be mindful of in your Stoic journey is the eternal skeptic. Envision your path to personal growth as a journey through a vast landscape of knowledge and experiences. Along the way, you seek to learn, adapt, and evolve. However, the eternal skeptic is like a persistent fog on this path, casting doubt on every step you take and every new idea you encounter. The eternal skeptic is characterized by their incessant questioning and doubting of everything, often without a constructive purpose. They may challenge your beliefs, goals, and the principles of Stoicism itself, not to engage in meaningful dialogue, but rather to undermine and create uncertainty. For instance, when you express enthusiasm about a new Stoic practice you're adopting, the eternal skeptic might respond with dismissive remarks like, "Does that really work?" Or, "Isn't that just a bunch of old philosophies with no practical use today?" Engaging with an eternal skeptic requires a balanced approach. It's important to appreciate healthy skepticism, which can lead to deeper understanding and critical thinking. However, when skepticism becomes a barrier to personal growth and exploration, it's necessary to reassess its influence on your journey. One way to deal with the eternal skeptic is to engage in informed and rational discourse. Present your views and the Stoic principles you follow with clarity and evidence. This not only reinforces your own understanding but also provides a structured response to their skepticism. Another strategy is to recognize the limits of persuasion and dialogue. You may not always be able to change the perspective of an eternal skeptic, and that's okay. Stoicism teaches the importance of focusing on what you can control, your thoughts, actions, and reactions. In cases where the skeptic's doubt becomes a hindrance, it may be wise to limit your engagement and focus on your own path and personal growth. Remember the Stoic principle of focusing on the present and what is within your control. The eternal skeptic's doubts and questions, while sometimes challenging, should not deter you from pursuing your own journey of self-improvement and understanding. Embrace the journey with an open yet discerning mind, and continue to explore and apply Stoic wisdom in a way that enriches your life and aligns with your values. I appreciate your attention to this discussion, and if you found value in this exploration, please consider liking and subscribing. Your engagement not only supports our continued delve into Stoic philosophy but also contributes to fostering a community dedicated to pursuing wisdom, courage, and a life well lived. Your commitment to Stoic principles helps cultivate an environment where like-minded individuals can grow, learn, and thrive together. Thank you for watching, and here's to a journey filled with insightful growth and Stoic wisdom.